Well, Scott, the other day when we talked to you, you went through, you were talking about the different considerations you might have for pitching this weekend. Like, what do you think you guys have settled on for tomorrow?
Yeah, we took a long look at all the teams that are in the tournament, and we just felt like staying with what we have been doing. Pretty much the second half of the season is what we're going to do. So DeCara will throw Friday night against Long Island. Sprague will throw against Wofford or LSU, and Houck game 3. That's the plan.
Did you take a long look at that because of, like the possible righties you could see, right-handed bats you could see on Saturday night?
Yeah, 100%. We looked at the matchup, and what's crazy is how good all three have been. But Sprague and DeCara have been really similar in the ACC. DeCara's walked a little bit more. They both struck out about the same, close to the same opponent batting average. But Sprague's been really good against both righties and lefties, but even better against righties. So we felt good about both matchups. So when we felt pretty even, we just decided to keep it as is.
Yeah.
What's this time of year like, Scott? I mean, you play all year to get to this point. It gets here, and then just the feeling you guys are having right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because the longer you coach, the more you should understand why you coach. So for me, I enjoy it more than I ever have, especially watching the guys experience it. Because I put myself in their shoes, or try to. I wasn't nearly good enough to play at North Carolina, but man, these guys are unbelievable players. But you see the joy on their face, you see the excitement. But I also understand, I've been here a long time, came with Coach Fox as a volunteer in '99, and I know how hard it is to host a regional. I know how hard it is to be a national seed. I know how hard it is to get to the College World Series. And when I was younger, I don't think I really stepped back and understood it. It just kind of happened when I came back here after Winthrop in 2006. But now, the older you get, you realize, like, hey, it's not easy. And I've got a lot of really close, great coaching friends. They've never even been in a super regional, and they're a good team. So, I'm just enjoying it. It makes me smile. That's what I think about, just smiling.
Scott, what kind of atmosphere are you expecting at the Bosh, not just tomorrow, but this whole weekend?
Awesome. Sold out. That's why, matter of fact, Mr. Bryson spoke to our team yesterday. He was our guest speaker, obviously the field, Bryson Field, and I wanted our guys to hear from him when he played here, in the 60s, how it's still so meaningful to him at 84, I believe is how old he is. But because of great support we've had here, we were able to build the stadium, we were able to enhance it, continue to keep it looking great, one of the top stadiums in the country, and it should be packed, standing room only, and 4 great teams, so it's going to be awesome.
What did he say? Did he whip up a good message?
He really did. He didn't even go in about his success in the business world. He just talked about his time at North Carolina, the relationships, what it was like playing here then. He talked about his teammates a ton, the effect they had on him, his coaches. He's from Gastonia. A lot of American Legion, that's all it was back then. So he talked to the guys about that. And he talked about how they got to the World Series. And the funniest story he told was how they got to the World Series. They had 2 coaches. One coach had to leave because he had a commitment coaching summer ball, so he couldn't be in the College World Series. And Coach Rab, after practice out there, challenged one of the guys to a race, and pulled his hamstring, but then he fell and he broke his elbow or something.
Oh dear God!
So he's literally coaching in the World Series in a wheelchair, And he said he was all on medicine, so they all played really loose.
How did Shea start last Friday, and that kind of atmosphere give you the confidence that you can come out on a Saturday of the regionals?
Yeah, that's what I was excited about. Once I saw, a lot of people say, "Oh man, tough draw with Chase Burns," but I knew that if the game meant something, I thought even the game didn't mean, every game means something, but I felt like with Burns on the mound, if we beat Pitt, and that's the deciding game that goes to Saturday, that place is going to be packed. And I don't know how many it holds, but it was sold out. I guess around 11 or more. Y'all know more than I do.
9,000.
9,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Some change.
And that's what you want to pitch in front of. And one thing I've noticed about Shea Sprague is he loves the big moments. He loves competing. That's why he decided to come to North Carolina. And I could tell that he was excited about that matchup with Chase Burns. And for the most part, you know, he's not going to strike out 15 guys an outing like Burns, but he's going to compete and keep you in the game.
Have you seen some of the more veteran guys like Berto, Vance, who were in the regional 2 years ago and in the super regional 2 years ago, sort of step up in leadership this week?
Yeah, you know, I thought a lot about that, but I shared a story with our guys. My first year back here as a pitching coach in 2006, we had not hosted since 1989. We had not been to Omaha since 1989. And then I said, you know what? That's a little bit overrated in my opinion. And I asked them, I said, how many times has Coastal Carolina been to the College World Series? And they said, 1. I said, there you go. And they won it. So this time of year, it's a new season for everybody. Experience, yeah, it can help, but you know, heck, we've had guys here in 07 that had never played, like Dustin Ackley and Kyle Seeger, those type of guys, and you know, they can just help the guys from the standpoint, hey, your adrenaline's going to be higher, you're going to be excited, so just take a deep breath.
A few days removed from Selection Sunday, what have been some of your like major takeaways from each of the other teams in the regionals? Kind of just looking at them.
Good teams, deserving to be here. You know, I told our guys we have to focus on LIU, and I told you guys about 2017. We ran through the league pretty good, and now the difference in that team is we had not been to a regional in 2 years. So it was new for a lot of those guys, even being in the postseason. Not for these guys, but I don't want to. You know, we got to focus on them because they're here for a reason. These 4 seeds will beat you in a second if you don't play well. But obviously, you know, Wofford's been really good, and LSU, their tradition, what they've done for college baseball, you have to respect. So it's an exciting group of 4, in my opinion.
Scott, I know we joked along those lines. I know we joked the other day about Castagnazzi and DeCaro being Long Island guys in terms of the scout, but what do you try to dig into to learn about a team, you know, that you haven't been playing against in the ACC, that is sort of a new, you know, entity to your guys when you're trying to like get ready to play games like this? Like, what do you look at and dig into?
You treat it just like it's a Friday game in our league, and you focus on, from the offensive standpoint, on the pitcher you're going to face, their best bullpen arms, but especially the starting pitcher, preparing for what he has. You don't look at any other teams in your preparation. I mean, you do in your preparation, but not for your team's preparation.
Right.
We don't know if we're going to play Wofford or LSU, but you know, if we beat Long Island, we're going to play one of them, and we'll prepare them as quick as we can for that. And then looking at their offense, how they do things. Are they a station-to-station team? Do they have power? Do they have speed? Do they have the combination? Because they're all different teams here. You know, you look at LSU, you look at Wofford, you look at Long Island. They've all had success in different ways. But the main thing for us is the approach against the starting pitcher and then their lineup.
What are your specific challenges in the LIU game?
I mean, it's like, honestly, it's like any game. There are challenges going into it. The matchup's the matchup. Obviously, we're used to seeing velocity in our league, but we're also used to playing guys that can really pitch. It might be 87 to 89 like the starter's going to be from Long Island. So, you know, just really trying to prepare, like, hey, you go from facing Chase Burns 98 to 100 to facing to a right-handed pitcher that's going to be 85, 88 with 4 pitches that's going to try to get you out front and roll over the ball. So that's one challenge. And then the other one's really, you have to be careful focusing on the other team too much the longer I do this. Like, we have to pitch to our strengths. We have to coach to our strengths. We have to play to our strengths. And, you know, Vance Honeycutt gets on, he's going to steal. I don't care who you're playing. That's what we do. If DeCaro's in the game, he's going to pitch like Jason DeCaro. He's not going to throw. If the slider's his 4th pitch that day, he's not throwing it because the guy can't hit it. He's going to throw his best pitch and may the best man win. So we'll focus on that. But, you know, they're a good team. They're here for a reason, so we'll have to play well.
Coach, I'm from Baton Rouge. Obviously, I haven't seen a lot of Carolina baseball, but what do you like about where your team is right now? Obviously, you guys have won a number of games coming down the stretch.
Yeah, first of all, good to have you here. Last time I was in Baton Rouge, I was coaching at Winthrop. Y'all had the Harris twins, I think. Yeah, it was a long time ago, yeah. We really enjoyed that trip. I've never eaten so much fried. Yes. Ask that question again, I'm sorry.
Your team's running hot right now.
Yeah.
Why? Where are they doing well?
You know, the one thing they've done all year, you know, Coach Fox came yesterday too, and I wanted him to introduce Mr. Bryson. And he complimented the guys on, I don't feel like you've taken a pitch off or a game off. And this group, I feel like they played with something to prove. all year. A lot of teams in our league, have been ranked higher most of the year. These guys know what's going on. So that edge has helped them. They've showed up every day. They know that the way college baseball is now, they got to play. But there's balance in this team. We've had some guys step up that came in here off the portal. Our returners have played well, and as Coach Roy Williams always said, your players got to play, and our players have played. You look at Casey Cook, you look at Vance Honeycutt, you look at Parks Harbor, and then you look at some of these pitchers, especially the bullpen that not many people talk about. That's an older group: Dalton Pence, Matt Poston, Matty Mathias, and they've really, come together when we lost those 2 Friday night pitchers. That was a tough blow for us. Honestly, I didn't know how it was going to go when you lose Jake Knapp and then a guy that's currently your Friday guy, but they took the opposite approach, like, we ain't letting it stop us. So it was a credit to them. It's a fun group to be around.
Have you heard from any of your coaching friends, Coach Davis, Coach Williams? Obviously, you heard from Coach Fox, but have you heard from any of those guys?
Oh, yeah.
This week?
The support here is everybody. We had a head coaches meeting the other day. Matter of fact, Coach Brown let us use Keenan last night in their theater room. We watched the movie. I couldn't believe how many guys had never seen Remember the Titans.
Oh,
Blew my mind. But we went out to eat and we went over there and he had it opened up. I sat in a massage chair and got like a 10-minute electric massage. I mean, football's a different world, right?
See how the other half lives.
Yeah, no doubt. But they had popcorn and snacks, and our guys were eating it up. And Coach Williams has been a huge baseball supporter and a huge supporter of me and my family since I've been here. Always gone out of his way to make my wife and 2 daughters, feel comfortable when he's at the game, and he always would come to Omaha. So they've reached out, and the message is, hey, keep going.
Scott, because the weekend arms are sort of set up the way they normally are, I guess you haven't had to move around any bullpens or do anything in terms of prep that you wouldn't normally do, sort of like a regular week type deal?
Yeah, Halk had to throw a little bit more, but we did get him in the game against Wake Forest, which was good. And then we had that group of guys, because you want to be ready. I mean, I've been in a lot of regionals. In 2022, we did have to come out of the losers bracket. So a lot of people say, you're done. It's not true. If you have some depth, you want to prepare that depth in case you have to play that 4 game. In 2013, we weren't in the losers bracket, and we still, Florida Atlantic beat us. Florida Atlantic beat us on Sunday, and we had to play again Monday. So Pageant throwing live to hitters, getting his pitch count up. Peterson throwing his bullpens, and a lot of other guys like Bovair, Olin Johnson. I've seen crazy things, and I've seen extra inning games.
Yeah.
So you want those arms ready. So we had those guys face all of our guys like Johnny and Vanderbrake and French and Dix and those type of guys. Thank y'all.